All right, welcome everyone. This is Maggie, a longtime client of mine, and she's a superstar marathon runner. She focuses about 2 marathons per year. She's a Boston qualifier, and she's still getting ready to do one here. She's got crazy running regime and training that's awesome. And one of the reasons why we met in the first place was to fuel this underlying passion to get there. And I know what Boston feels like. I'm wearing my Boston swag right now. It's from when I ran it, and it's quite the pinnacle of racing a marathon. So Maggie, let's jump in and talk. Who are you? What do you do? And what brings us here?
So I am a high school art teacher. It actually makes my training a little bit easier because I can get some nice afternoon workouts in.
Mhm.
But I had run about 3 or 4 marathons prior to working with Brian. And around mile 18, 17, every single marathon, I just immediately got gassed out. I had put hours and hours of training into it, so super frustrating.
Not months,
But
right?
yeah,
Hours in a week or hours in a weekend, right? So months.
so frustrating to go into a race feeling absolutely great, feeling prepared, and then just getting gassed out at 17, 18 every single time. I never really thought it would have to do with nutrition and was just like, I'm not training hard enough
Right.
and would
Run
get,
more.
yeah, just get back to it, adding more miles. I would say it took me continuing to add more miles and then continuously feeling bloated and just fluffy. And I was like, why am I running more? And I am feeling like I'm gaining more weight. So it was a combination of the feeling depleted and then feeling like, why am I continuously gaining weight if I'm running more and more and more? That I took to the internet and was like, what can I do to help out? And nutrition kind of was the top part of
Right.
what I'm doing.
Right. They do say it's like 20% exercise, 80% nutrition. Of course, like when you're doing the amount of effort you're doing, maybe it's more like 50-50 because you have to put in the time, the effort, the miles to even be capable of running a marathon.
Yeah.
And what was the general calorie range you came to me with?
I was probably eating around 1,200 to 1,300 calories. And
And an
in my
average
head,
day,
I was like, I'm eating healthy.
right?
And I just never really thought it was carbs. I was cutting carbs. And when I reflect back on it, I was like, how did I not think that carbs is energy? And I would say another driving force was I had a lot of GI issues that
Yeah,
not only impacted my running, just daily life. And I, prior to working with you, tried different diets. I went
yeah.
gluten free for a while. I was like, it has to be something that I'm eating that's maybe causing the bloat or causing the GI issues.
Mhm.
And come to find out, it was that I literally needed to be eating double the calories that I was eating. And I had zero GI issues. And after working with you for 4 months, I BQ'd Boston qualified my first marathon.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you're watching this video on my website, you'll see some of her stats were like beyond impressive. I mean, you legit ran the whole race in a 10 seconds mile difference
Yes,
per split. It
I
was incredible.
I finished that first race and I was like, I feel like I could keep going. I it was a 21 or 22 minute PR
Yep.
and I didn't drop pace the entire time. And it, not only pace, but my heart rate stayed the same the entire time.
Right, right. We went over sport nutrition, right? We obviously gotten a considerable amount more calories. Your base calories, no matter what you did, was if I remember, it was like 2,300 or so, and then we could stack like okay. So for simplicity, because we had to make it simple, was all right. 2,300, no matter what. If you're over 5 miles, we're at like 2,800. If we're over 10 miles, we're at like 3,200. If we're at over 15 miles, because you'd have to run that far, we were like closer to 4,000. You're like, Brian, I can't eat this much food. How do we do it? So we would split it up and break it up and figure things out. But what is it like eating that much food in comparison to what you were in the past?
So I would say it was definitely a learning curve at first.
Right,
Um, the greatest advice you gave me was to always plug in my meal before I ate it.
right.
That helped tremendously because I would sometimes be like, all right, instead of one scoop of rice, I need two scoops of rice. It was definitely a learning curve to figure out kind of how to space out all the calories throughout the day. But then once I got into that little drive, it became effortless and I didn't really have to think about it much. It was like I put all of this in my smoothie. This is the amount of calories I have just in that one smoothie. And it was easy kind of to place it all throughout the day.
Yeah, definitely. We had to track with you. Some
Yeah.
people not so much, but to the degree of certainty of qualifying and having everything down and correct amounts of nutrition, especially if you're eating so little, there's no understanding or comprehension of how much food that actually was. So we did
Right.
track quite a bit for that. We did find ways to just not track too on many, many days and stuff. You would, and
Yeah.
every time we had a check-in, you're like, yep, I'm still at like what 137, 138. So it's like this is magic. So like you
Yeah.
just put food in your mouth and your body is just there. What are some of the changes you've seen in your body?
So I went into it feeling like if I get toned in this, this is going to be great. But my main issue was get rid of the GI issues and then
Right.
get not crash out in the middle of a race.
Right.
Then just throughout it, I continued to lose weight and continued to just feel toned and look toned, which was crazy to me that I was like, I am eating so many calories. When I would tell friends how many calories I was eating a day, they were blown away. And I was like, and I'm losing weight. Like it's absolutely mind blowing to me. But it took definitely like rigorous tracking to
Oh yeah.
make sure I'm meeting all of those different goals. The best thing I did was buy a scale for food because
Right.
I feel like a lot of people just don't really realize how much each thing actually needs
Right.
to be able to make those numbers. But
Right.
um,
Yeah, when you're
and
eating over 3,000 calories, it becomes a guessing game if you're even close to it,
yeah,
if you're not paying attention.
and that Six Pack Promise app that you had
Oh
suggested, I
yeah.
still do.
I know, so do I.
It's best. I recommend it to anyone.
I've been using it for like I've been using it for like 4 years.
Yeah, I
I love it.
absolutely love it. But I would say I just feel stronger and I feel
Right.
like I have significantly more muscle than I did
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
eating 20
definitely.
calories on the regular.
Right. Yeah. The most recent body composition pictures you sent were definitely impressive. You toe the line and people are looking at you like,
Yeah.
she's here to race. Right. So, your most recent marathon, it seemed like you had a little bit of trouble getting to the finish line due to the body issues and stuff. But you followed that up with two first place female
Yeah.
finishers, right?
It was really actually really devastating. I trained harder than I ever had.
Right.
Felt absolutely phenomenal. A week before my race, I had a friend say, "How are you feeling about this?" And I feel like every race, I always have some little doubt. And going into this one, I was like, I have no doubts at all. I actually feel like I am in the utmost.
Rush.
And then I got bronchitis that week.
Yeah.
I did absolutely everything I could to try and kick it. I probably shouldn't have raced because then I ended up getting more sick, but I just
Right.
wanted to kind of see how I felt. I did all of the nutrition. I still have like screenshots of all of the nutrition plans that you gave me leading up to races and
Right.
week of races. Um, and I was at a 7:40 pace for 18 miles with bronchitis and, and had a tap. I took one drink of
Yeah.
water, mile 18, and could not stop coughing and
Yeah.
tapped out. And while I stood there waiting for a shuttle to pick me up, I was like, I don't have the slightest bit of fatigue in my legs whatsoever.
It's incredible.
Which
That's
felt,
crazy.
yeah. So
That's
I was
crazy.
like determined. So then I needed to redeem myself before the season ended. And just went out and won a couple of local races, 5K races.
Yeah, I feel that's an instant boost, right? You first female and just
Yeah.
smoke people, smoked all that. I remember like being when I've ran marathons and triathlons, but like back in my high school days, I was consistently in the 5K racing circuit locally, and you'd show up and you knew the people that were going to give you a run for your money, and then you knew the people that were just going to smoke you.
So about
And
the
so when Maggie shows up, all those you're crushing all those high school boys, cross country boys, hopes and dreams, and inspiring all the women, right? All the ladies to go run more. So that's awesome.
yeah.
Well, if someone's watching this and we're back in your shoes, back when you started, about like we focus primarily on nutrition through our work together, but I've coached people in all various forms of endurance coaching on the programming and technicality and in the mindset training. We talk quite a bit about the mindset too, but what would you tell them if they're watching this and just like, what, Maggie's eating like 3,000 plus calories regularly, like
Yeah. I would say don't be scared about increasing your calories, but if you are putting in the effort and you're not seeing results, I feel like it has to come down to the nutrition. And you probably are not eating as much as you might think you are. Tracking does a huge amount in figuring that out. But I would say if you are mainly putting in the effort and you're just not getting the results you want, you got to do something about your nutrition.
right, right.
Yeah.
You can keep running more. There is a definitive return on just doing sheer mileage
Yeah.
and training, but you're still missing out on just the fundamentals of properly fueling, having during your intra workout fueling, post recovery fueling. We worked quite a bit on that to help you thrive, and
That
and
was
you
also,
have done just that.
yeah, that was also huge too, is the days that I would run 20 miles, I would come home and I would eat a lunch and then kind of just sit around and I would feel so fatigued going in,
Right.
finishing out the day and then the following day. And then when you were like, you need to be eating 3,500 calories on these type of days. Once I started really doing that, I kind of was blown away at, I just ran 20 miles. And when I'm going to bed, it feels like I ran 5 during the day.
Yes,
So
that's wonderful, isn't it?
that's huge. Um,
I know. I've done that before where you just like you run a lot and you're not planned or timed well, and you're just like, wow, I feel like I have the flu or something. Like I'm worthless. I'm just gonna take a nap the rest of the day and call it a wash. Yeah, even though it's only like 9 a.m. because you woke up early to run a long run before it got hot out or something. So
and I would also say I really appreciated that, like I had my mileage already preset, and I would just tell you kind of how much I was running for the week, and we would adjust my calories. But I really appreciated that you put some emphasis at times, being like, "Hey, you also got to do a little bit of strength work in
right,
there." And
right,
then once I did add, and I am not the type of person to go to the gym all the time, but just adding little bits of strength work, and you would send me little circuits that I could do.
right,
I actually noticed a huge difference in just my everyday running,
right,
feeling significantly stronger, and any type of lower back pain was gone. Just having that kind of extra strength in the core and throughout my
right.
body that I wasn't getting just on running.
Right. Yeah, we have to make you durable in many different ways, from the body, the mind, your joints, your flexibility, mobility. So we kind of cover all of our bases there to make sure that you're able to perform at a high level and recover, because you literally were recover eating to prepare for the next run you're going to do, because it was within a short amount of time
Yeah.
following that. So
Yeah.
you're awesome. You're
Yeah.
awesome.
All the you.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Well, teamwork makes the dream
Yeah.
work. So, what can we look forward to you here in the spring racing, and what are some of your goals moving forward here in the next
So
little bit?
so I have a marathon for the first weekend of June scheduled. I'll do a half in the winter just to kind of get out there
Right,
racing thing. But June 6th, I have a race in Pennsylvania that I'm shooting for 3:15, 3:20.
Nice.
With Boston just being so competitive,
Yeah.
I am not looking for the qualifying time. I'm looking for at least a 10 to 15 minute buffer. So I
Yeah, right. Because you're already qualified for Boston, but they're not letting you in because it's
yeah,
not fast enough.
missed it by 20 seconds. So I had a 5 minute buffer, and the 5 minute buffer just didn't do it. So
It wasn't enough. Yeah. My Boston qualifying race was my first marathon, fortunately, but I was cramping like crazy in the last 10K, like standing still at times. I lost at least 10 minutes in the last 6 miles of
yeah.
just not moving or just like, like how if I throw my leg out to the side and point my toe inward, I can like keep moving without cramping, right?
Yeah.
And but I crossed within like less than a minute of being able to qualify. It was amazing, and I was just like, I'm going. So excellent. Yeah, well, I'll be cheering. I know you'll let me know when you
Yeah.
actually get there and do it, and keep me posted. So I appreciate that. So, well, thank you so much. If you're still here watching this, thank you. If you're interested in some endurance coaching, running, I do triathlon, cycling. I've had a lot of experience in that for the last. I've been an endurance athlete for 20 years. So check out the website, reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to see if I can help or not. So thank you, Maggie. Thank you. Thank you. You're awesome. Keep being awesome.
Thanks.
Bye.
Yeah.